Now I know you guys have been asking us to do more builds on the channel, and we thought we'd kick that off with this system. This is a system that I recently put together that is not only cheap and upgradable, but it's actually something that anybody can build. Now, the past couple of years haven't been great for anybody on a budget, particularly when it comes to building a gaming PC. Graphics cards have been phenomenal prices. CPUs have been pretty expensive, particularly with the new releases coming out, and they've not actually been that much on offer for the budget gamer. So everybody's actually had to go to the pre-owned market. But unfortunately, the pre-owned market also suffered a lot of price increases, so it became very difficult to build anything. But that time is now coming to an end, and we can actually build some pretty decent systems. There are a lot of channels out there that will show you how to build a pretty cheap gaming PC, but very often they use parts that you just can't get your hands onto. They seem to manage to find those needles in a haystack when it comes to parts and prices. And yeah, you can kind of put that stuff together, but it takes an awful lot of time and effort to be able to kind of source the parts. Whereas what I like to do is actually build a system that pretty much anybody can build. So the parts that we've actually used in here, you can go out there now and just buy them just as they are. You can buy them from places like eBay or Facebook Marketplace, and if you do a little bit of hunting around, you can actually get them a little bit cheaper. But this kind of will give you a demonstration of the kind of thing you can get. Now, the total cost for this machine was actually around £350, and it does use a combination of new and used parts. Unfortunately, you just have to go for the used parts sometimes, because particularly when it comes to graphics cards, the actual best bargains out there are on the pre-owned market. So what do we actually have in this system? At the core of it, for the CPU, we have an AMD Ryzen 5 3600. Now that CPU is a more than capable CPU. We have tested it quite a bit on the channel before with lots of different graphics cards, and you can get away with going up to something like an RX 6800 XT, and the CPU will be pretty much fine. It is sitting on a platform that of course is very upgradable, particularly nowadays, and you can do it for pretty good prices. The motherboard in here is a Gigabyte Aorus B450 Pro. It's not the latest generation of those motherboards, but as we all know, with a quick BIOS update, we can always upgrade the CPU to something like a 5800X 3D, and you will actually see a major jump in performance. For the RAM, we have some Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB, pretty standard stuff nowadays. You can pretty much pick it up from anywhere, and it's actually pretty cheap, so you can always double up the memory later on because we do have those 4 DIMM slots. When it comes to storage, we have a 1TB NVMe. The NVMe that we're currently using in here is actually from Crucial. They've got some amazing bargains at the moment, and they're pretty cheap, so I wouldn't go anything less than 1TB nowadays because it's going to give you plenty of space. And because the motherboard actually has 2 NVMe slots, you can always upgrade that by putting an extra one on. Of course, you don't have to go NVMe. The motherboard does also support SATA drives, so you could also add as many SATA drives as you want, whether that's mechanical hard drives, which I wouldn't recommend nowadays, or your standard 2.5-inch SSDs. They will actually work as well. For the power supply, we have a Cooler Master 550 watt. Now, I would have liked to go a little bit bigger on the power supply on this, and you actually could for the price of these. When I actually purchased this power supply, it was around £50. You can actually get EVGA 600 watt power supplies now for around £45 if you're looking on something like Amazon. I wouldn't go second hand for a power supply. I would actually make sure some of your system is quite new, because some of the parts do get worn over time. In the instance of this machine, of course, the power supply is brand new, and so are the NVMe drives. It's always good to have a brand new storage device because that means it's not actually going to get worn out and it hasn't been used a billion times before. For the case, we have something basic. This is the Hellcracks HCS 195. It's that one that kind of looks like a fractal torrent, but it actually isn't. And it does come with 3 RGB fans pre-installed, which is exactly what we've got here. So we saved a little bit of money on cooling. And then of course we have the heart of any gaming PC. The card that we've actually installed in here is actually the AMD Radeon RX 580 8GB. Now, a lot of you out there will say, but isn't that card too old now to actually play games? Well, in actual fact, it kind of holds up very well, and particularly for the price. You can pick these cards up from between £50 and £80 nowadays, depending on where you actually shop. We've actually quoted this one up at the highest figure, so that's £80. So you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to be able to get one of them. And as you would have noticed in previous videos, that card is more than capable even today, particularly with a lot of the games. You will struggle on some of the more newer games, but I'm sure as we get into some testing, you'll see really what the card is capable of. Now, that is the full system here. Many of you would say it's a very basic system, and that's exactly what it is. It is a cheap machine that you can actually do some decent upgrades, and you can actually go out there and purchase all these parts today for pretty much the prices that we're stating. But what does that actually look like when we take a look at the individual prices and how it adds up to about £350? For the CPU, you're going to be spending around £50. You can pretty much pick them up for that now anywhere. For the motherboard, around £60. I know that AM4 motherboards have increased in price recently, but £60 isn't actually too bad. You can pick up a nice ATX board like this Gigabyte Aorus one around that kind of figure, or you could go for something a little bit different. When it comes to RAM, you can easily pick up 16 gigabytes like we have here for £30. And in fact, if you were to actually go for a different brand, you could pick it up for £30 brand new. So you could actually go for brand new RAM instead of the RGB one that we have. When it comes to the SSDs, they are actually reasonably cheap nowadays. We managed to pick this crucial 1TB drive up for just £40. For the power supply, we've reserved £50 for this, although you can get them slightly cheaper and you can get branded ones cheaper as well. As we mentioned before, you could pick up something like an EVGA 600 watt for around £45, so that kind of gives you a pretty good leeway there. And then of course the case, which is also brand new, you can get for around £40. The GPU we paid £80 for, but like I said previously, you can get them cheaper if you shop around, but we've gone for that kind of price. And in total, that obviously makes around £350. But how does a system like this perform? Can you actually play the latest games on it? Well, there's only one way to find out, so let's get it hooked up and take a look. Okay, so we've got the system up and running, and of course, the noisiest thing in the whole system is actually that stock cooler from AMD. It is the AMD Wraith Stealth cooler. They're not the quietest of coolers, but it's more than enough to keep the CPU cool. And once you've got the side on the case, you're not really going to notice that that noise is there. As you can see from the system, we've given it this nice little blue theme. That was actually just to blend in with the Sapphire logo on the graphics card, but I think the system looks quite nice and it's running perfectly fine. The first game that we're obviously going to be testing is something a little bit newish. It's Spider-Man Remastered. I didn't think it was worth actually going to play anything older than this. I mean, come on, we could play Counter-Strike, which is what many people will actually test these systems with, but the RX 580 8GB is more than enough for Counter-Strike, so it's just a pointless test. You can get ridiculous amounts of FPS on that game and you can play it perfectly fine. So we thought we would test it with something a little bit more demanding. In the menu system, we can see that we're currently running at around 100 FPS. That's not too bad, but let's go in and check the settings and see what we've actually got configured. We are currently running at a 1080p resolution, of course, with an RX 580. That's the kind of resolutions you're really going to be targeting for, and it is a budget system, so you've got to make some exceptions there. There is no upscaling on at the moment. We're not using any kind of weird software to kind of increase anything artificially. And we're currently running at a medium setting. I don't really want to push this system too high at the moment. Let's just leave it at the medium and see how well it actually games. Now in game, we are getting a pretty decent average FPS at the moment of 78. If we do a little bit more swinging around the city, we can see that the continuous is actually decreasing a bit, but we haven't actually gone below 60 frames per second yet. So the system is actually holding up quite well. The game in a medium preset also looks pretty decent. You can't really tell that it isn't a medium. Externally, I would think that this is actually in a high setting, but I don't know. It actually looks pretty good, to be honest. Swinging around the city, we can see that it actually goes up and down, but we still haven't. Oh, there we go. We have actually dropped now below the 60 frames per second, but only while we were in those trees, and we couldn't really tell. There was no stuttering or anything. We also have a pretty decent 1% low at the moment of 48 frames per second. Obviously, if you have played this game before, you'll know that the higher you get, the more things increase. As you can see, we're nearly tipping the 100 frames per second then, and if you look up, it actually increases by quite a lot. But you don't play the game looking up, we actually do a lot of looking down, so let's continue on quite low in the game. I would actually say that this game at the moment is more than playable on the system, so for anybody out there that hasn't played it and wanted to actually get into Spider-Man, maybe you didn't have a PlayStation and you couldn't actually play the game, you could actually get away with it on this system, which is quite phenomenal for something that only cost £350. So now that we know that this game can perfectly play Spider-Man Remastered, it looks nice in a medium setting. The game actually runs pretty smooth. We're getting over 60 frames per second. It's time to try something a little bit more demanding, something a little bit newer. Now, Dead Island 2 is one of my favourite games of 2023. I waited nearly 11 years to actually play this game and it didn't disappoint. But can this system actually keep up in that game? It is a much more demanding game than the Spider-Man Remastered, so hopefully we can actually get a pretty decent gaming experience on this. And if we can, it will prove that even a system that is kind of this old can actually play modern titles. If we just jump into the settings, again, we're not going to push this game too far. It is quite more demanding. We are running in a 1080p resolution. That's exactly what we want to be for a caliber machine of this. We'll go to advanced. There is no actual, we've just popped back. There's no fancy software actually going to help us on this. We're just leaving everything as native as possible. We'll go to the overall quality. We're going to turn that down to a medium because I really don't want to push this game too much. We've got at the moment AMD FX Super Resolution 2 on. I'm going to turn that off. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can actually play the game without FSR helping us. And if it's not great, then obviously we'll come in and we'll tweak some things. Pop back to the menu. Let's save those settings and then we'll jump straight into the game. Now we're in the game, and as you can see, we're actually at the beginning of this game because this is actually a new profile that I started. We're currently getting an average of 78, 79 frames per second. It's actually looking pretty decent. I'm very shocked that it plays so well, to be honest. I expected this game to run very poorly and that we would need some kind of help from software. We've got some zombies on the screen now and we're still getting an average of 85 frames per second. The constant is actually dropping a little bit when we get these extra characters on the screen. We just saw it go down to 63 frames per second, but it's actually not dropping below that 60 frames per second at the moment. In a medium setting, this game is playing perfectly fine. There's even more kind of characters on the screen now and we're still not dropping down. We can take a look at all the scenery, things are built up in the background, and actually it's pretty decent. So now we know that it can actually play Dead Island perfectly fine. If you build a system like this for just £350, you can play Dead Island 2, you can play Spider-Man Remastered, and you will get a 1080p 60 frames per second experience with pretty decent 1% lows. But that's not all this machine can do. It can also do this. And now we know what we can get for around £350 in 2023. It is a slightly older system, but I'm really glad that the prices of pre-owned parts are actually coming down because it means that many more people can actually get into PC gaming. When it comes to upgrades for this system, you've got many different paths that you can take. If it was me upgrading this system for myself, I would first consider upgrading the cooling in this case. I would actually drop out the current fans because they're not actually adjustable. They are RGB and that looks quite nice, but they're not really adjustable when it comes to fan speeds. We're pretty much not actually using any fan headers on a motherboard, and we have plenty on this Gigabyte Aorus board. So I would upgrade them with something from potentially Thermalright. They do some very good budget fans at the moment. You can buy 3 in a pack for around £11, so 2 packs, nearly £20, and you could actually fill this system out with nice intakes and exhausts. I would also upgrade the CPU cooler. It is the loudest thing in the case at the moment, and it's probably not performing as well as it could, particularly if you had extra cooling in there. And again, for that, I would probably look at, again, something from Thermalright, something that matches the case fans there. They do some nice AIOs, but I think you can get a pretty decent tower cooler from them for around £30. So for £50 all in, you can pretty much do a pretty decent job at adding cooling to this system. The next steps, of course, I would actually look at replacing the graphics card. I would only do this if you've actually used the system for a while. Don't build this system and then 2 days later buy a new graphics card. If you're going to buy the new graphics card that soon, just go for it straight away. And for that, I would probably consider something like an RX 5700 XT. You can pick them up for around £150 now. Now that is about £60 to £70 more than the RX 580, but it is a hell of a lot bigger card. You're going to get a lot more performance out of it, and the Ryzen 5 3600 can cope with it perfectly fine. But let me know in the comments below if you had a system like this, or if you even do have a current system like this, what kind of upgrades are you looking to do? What would you do next to your system? Pop them in the comments and we'll have a discussion around why you would actually do that. I hope you like the machine that we've actually built and the recommendations that we've made. There are many different ways of doing this, so there is no right or wrong answers around actually building pretty cheap upgradable machines. Everybody has a different opinion, everybody has a different preference. Lots of people don't like AMD graphics cards, So if you were actually to build something like this and you wanted an NVIDIA graphics card, you would want something like the GTX 1060. You want to make sure that you go for the 6GB though, not the 3GB, because it pretty much will keep up with the RX 580, and they are a little bit cheaper. You can get them for around £60, so you could probably knock a little bit off this by just going for NVIDIA. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and you want to see some more builds coming up. We do have a few more builds actually planned. We're going to go for something even cheaper than this build soon, so we'll show you what the capability of that will be. And we're also going to be doing something a little bit more premium, so you won't want to miss that. And I'm sure, as always, we will catch you guys in the next one.